Hello everybody, Darren Cross here. Welcome to Management Marketing 340 International Business, and this is the assignment video for Module 7. Now, take into consideration that Module 7 is really the last module that we have to do any creative work. In Module 8, all you're doing is putting together, looking at all of the comments that I've made along the way and correcting them, submitting your final draft. So, in Module 7, what we are going to do is the final two pieces, so the ethical assessment as well as the conclusion. When we're talking about the ethical assessment, what we're doing is taking into consideration all of the cultural, we did the cultural assessment, so when we look at the cultural assessment and all of the things that Hofstede said, how do those things create ethical dilemmas throughout the world? So, all of that stuff kind of creates an aggregate picture of what we find to be acceptable, really. So, for instance, in the United States, we don't like child labor and we have a minimum wage here. What does that mean when we translate this globally? Let's say that we've moved to a different part of the world because we want to capture some kind of an advantage, and that advantage might be a labor cost advantage. And so if we go down to Colombia, the deal is we'd like to pay people, the market says that we can pay people $1 an hour, but for here that seems, like a tragedy here in the United States. What do? Do we pay it, or, is that even, we're not trying to solve the problem here. We're just trying to see what kind of ethical situations exist. So I don't want you to get deep into this. What I want you to do is to say, hey, as a result of our internationalizing into this part of the world, the following ethical dilemmas present themselves. First of all, there's the dilemma of child labor in Indonesia. In the United States, we think that a child should be at a certain age in order to work, but in Indonesia, we capture the labor market by paying them less than our minimum wage. This presents an ethical dilemma, so it's something we have to take into consideration. You are not going to say, this is what we are going to do about the problem. The deal is we're just talking about what they are. What are the ethical dilemmas? So look at the places where you're going and think about what ethical dilemmas might pop up. Okay, and then once you do that, what you'll notice is that we've gone through each of these pieces and we've assessed. We haven't solved anything. We've just assessed along the way. So now when you get to the conclusion, it's kind of your wrap-up solution opportunity here. So first of all, you're going to recap the major points of the paper. Hey, this company is doing this and they're internationalizing. We did all of these analyses along the way, and we think that they're going to be successful. If you don't think they're going to be successful, we think that there are going to be some challenges ahead. Here are the things that they actually have to do in order to make themselves more successful. Okay? So I think that you can do each of these sections in 2 paragraphs. Remember, paragraphs should be 3 to 5 sentences each. Now, you guys might be cynical about the comments that I make on your paper. I kind of grade pretty strictly, but I don't penalize with points that much. So if you're not seeing a lot of comments on your papers, that means that you're really, really rocking it out. But most of you guys have tons and tons and tons of comments on your paper, and then I'll take 4 or 5 points off or something like that. And then some of you are just off track, and I might take 10, 13, 15 points. What I want you to understand is that what I've noticed along the way is the things that plague you guys the most is, number one, getting off track and not even addressing the things that we're talking about. You guys tend to want to do this thing where you over talk and you over explain. You want to set up things nicely. So for instance, if I'm talking about if the thesis of my paragraph is, tell me everything there is to know about this red 10-foot long umbrella, then the sentence should go something like this. This umbrella, or you might say, an umbrella is something that keeps you safe from the rain. The color of this umbrella is red. The length of this umbrella is 10 feet. Next, we're going to talk about galoshes. That's really as simple as it needs to be. Here's how you guys are talking. An umbrella is a great thing to have. Without an umbrella, people will starve to death because they will drown in the torrential rains that will hit them, and then they will not be able to travel to the store to get groceries. Groceries are very, very important for sustenance. And you forget to talk about what's really important here, the umbrella. So the thing is, stay super focused. You don't need an introductory paragraph to talk about what a company must do. That's another thing you guys do. You say things like, a company must take into consideration a SWOT because... Just stay super focused. The simple method of writing, especially for me, and some of you guys are going to see me again, or in business, is to stay super focused. Define the thing that we're talking about. Define the things that actually compose this, and then talk about how it interacts with what's relevant for us, and then transition sentence to the next thing. Right? Don't talk about all of this extra stuff. So be super, super focused. When you're doing this, you can say, as indicated, ABC company is moving into Japan and Indonesia, period. There are some ethical situations that might arise as a result of their transition into these companies, period. These ethical considerations include X, Y, and Z. And then when you're talking about them, you might have, then you say X is an ethical situation where this exists, but, this is the downside, but this is the upside. Y is a situation where this exists, or this is the upside and downside. And you just go from there. And then after that, it's like, you might want to say, you could have a concluding sentence that says something like, since we're going to transition into the conclusion, you could say, in order to be successful, this is something that these ethical situations are something that the company has to look at. Don't overwrite. Just stay super focused on what we're talking about. But as always, if you get confused, feel free to reach out to me and I can do my best to help you out. Good luck, everyone.